we finally figured it out. We're now seasoned travelers, and we're going to get this right. What could possibly go wrong? Dad's going to get in trouble for that one. Oh, I got a little bit of a sore throat. I'm not choked up. Screw you. Hey, girls. March 13th. March 13th. My mouth is all numb because I got the Vapo Cool going on. My throat is all sore. I had to throw that together. I woke up last night at 2:30 in the morning because I had maybe the most terrible nightmare of my life. I'm not even going to tell you about the dream because I don't want to relive it. I woke up. It was just so real. It was one of those dreams that was so real. The last time that happened to me was actually when I had my spiritual experience, where the dream, it wasn't a dream though. I still can't explain that. I've run into a few people who've had these spiritual experiences, and it's like I don't know what that was. But anyway, last night it was a dream, and it messed me up pretty badly. I have never woken up before and looked around and immediately started crying. I literally woke up and started crying. It's causing me pain right now just thinking about it. Essentially, in my dream, Mom had passed away. That's the short version. And I had never been so happy to be awake and not have something be reality. But still, it was such a real dream. I had experienced the actual loss. And I was fucked up. I was fucked up really, really badly. I remember getting up and standing over the bed and putting my hands down and just trying to catch my breath. And I said out loud, this is so fucking stupid. like, and just a flood of emotions. A literal flood of emotions. And the inspiration I got was that this whole life, this entire existence, is exactly what Jesus told us it is. And not just Jesus. Like every major religion out there, the people who have not taken them to extremes, this existence is about forgiveness and love. It's like two things. and that's why I said this is so fucking stupid. Because I don't want mom hanging on to this anger anymore. I know what it is. There's a literal demon attacking our family. I have run into it. There are going to be people out there who's like, aha, he's seeing demons. Yeah. Oh well. All those. If you believe in the good spirits, how can you not believe in the bad ones? And the bad ones are pretty pervasive right now. But once I found out that I didn't know what this was for 40 plus years. I didn't know what it was. I knew my mom acted in an insane way. I knew my family was plagued by problems. I saw mom's family with a lot of the same problems, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. For the longest time, I just thought it was me. Just me. Like, I'm fucked up, which I'm no saint by any means. But I didn't know how to handle it. And it wasn't until I realized this is a freaking real entity that is trying to attack us. The more I delved into that and saw that other people deal with the exact same thing, clarity started happening. And just like, oh, it's like, oh gosh, do I have a paper towel or something? For the longest time, they didn't know why people got physically sick. They were like, what is this? And they're like, you need leeches is what you need. You need to throw some leeches on you and suck the blood out of you. But they didn't know what it was, and they finally came up with a theory of bacteria. And originally, the theory of bacteria was like, ha, you think there are little creatures out there making us sick, and then, yeah, but you can't see them. It's the exact same freaking thing. It's the same shit. These are just entities that we can't perceive right now. And anyway, so it's also tough looking at all those pictures of me. I hate looking at those. Any pictures and videos from about, I don't know the years, but like at around like 44, 45 years old, about 3 years maybe into the divorce, I started actually loving myself. And loving myself was actually, putting energy into myself and forgiving myself. And saying, hey, I've fucked up here. Hey, Lord, I have really screwed the freaking pooch here. I'm noticing the lighting is messed up. I didn't do a full prep. Let's get some light in the background. There we go. Make it colorful. Got the blue shirt, blue light. We got the purple in the back. Muffin, your little plant back there is thriving. And Grace, you're finally blossoming again. I'm very excited. Yeah. So I sat there last night for about a half an hour. I cried for about 15 or 20 minutes uncontrollably. I couldn't stop it. And I was shaking. And I thought to myself, I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. But I knew Mom didn't have my new phone number. And so I texted her and said, hey, just here's my phone number. If you ever want to reach out, I said the phrase, if you ever want to take a leap of faith. And that's what all of us eventually are called to do, to believe it or not. Every one of us. I had to take my leap of faith in admitting fault. I never wanted to admit any fault. I'm that guy. And that's why I kind of get on people, I get on people now who won't admit fault. Because it holds people back. It just creates absolute chaos. If you just won't say, hey, I screwed up there. I'm sorry. But we're in kind of a society that doesn't really promote that. We have a lot of people that when you say, hey, I've screwed up, the receiver will say, yeah, you did. How dare you? And all that shit. No, when someone says, hey, I've screwed up, you go, yeah, hey, me too. I've screwed up too. It's okay. I love you. I've screwed up too. Let's move forward here. Come on, let's do this. And it's amazing what happens. That's the leap of faith. Every single one of us at some point will have to take a leap of faith in order to kind of transcend. So that's that. But I had already planned to make a podcast today. I didn't plan on doing that. I'll turn the volume down here. Let's see here. I'm just going to run through these really fast. There, that, from the beginning. So this is us flying home from Japan. Monkey, you were being a wretched pain in the butt, and little Muffin, you wouldn't stop crying. That was when, Muffin, you finally stopped crying. Mom was having a beverage, and I was trying to hold it together. That worked out. It almost does. The first Christmas together up at Magic Mountain. And these are chronological for the most part. We went to a party. Mom looks gorgeous. Disneyland back when California Adventure was still us in Vegas. And then in Grand Lake. A little waterfall there, which makes an appearance later. We did a photo shoot together right before Mom went off to OIS and joined the Navy. That's our engagement day. Boy, I got a story about that day. First house in Columbus, Ohio. Monkey, there you are. They made me take my shirt off for some reason. I don't know why. And then, of course, Muffin. Mom bought me a car. I ended up wrecking that car, and it destroyed me mentally and emotionally. Me becoming a captain for the first time. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. And then Grand Lake again. We found the same two spots in 2018. There's the waterfall again. And then way back when, the two of us. So, yeah. Those are all the pictures. So, I had planned to do a podcast today because I watched the previous podcast about the girl pilot, Jenny, TN Fly Girl. I watched that and was in disbelief. And here's why. I sat next to, coming home from Europe. I went over to Europe for a little while. Oh gosh, I really am just snotting everywhere now. That dream fucked me up really badly. But what messed me up almost equally was sitting next to that lady I told you about on the airplane. So we flew back to Denver, and I'm sitting next to this lady, the one who asked me about the crash. And did you hear about this girl who crashed? That woman was in a straight up panic. She was in, like, the entire time. She was afraid of flying. And for however many hours that was, I'm sitting next to that. This stuff is contagious. I watched that video. You can go back and watch it if you want to. I am in a full-blown panic because I've been sitting. I'd just gotten home like an hour before I did that podcast. So I'm all disheveled and tired. But I'd been sitting next to that person and picking up on that just panic energy. I am very susceptible, and we all are, very susceptible to other people's emotions. I pick up on them very, very easily, and I can actually sense somebody's emotions just by them walking in the room. It's called being an empath. I'm pretty sure both of you guys are. If you can read people's emotions quickly, you're an empath. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. Because this is what I've been trying to kind of convey to not just you girls, but to a couple other people recently. That you have to you have to quarantine, for lack of a better term. Remember, yeah, you might not remember COVID. You got to quarantine. Everybody's got to quarantine and wear a mask because the shit's contagious, right? Emotions are contagious. Mindsets are contagious. It's just the way it is. If you look at any group, the energy in the group is going to be about the same no matter what. There's not going to be, 5 or 6 calm people and then one person who's absolutely manic. It doesn't happen that way. The group energy is what it is. That's where solitude comes in. Being us, being ourselves. I can't stress this enough that in order to know us and to love ourselves, you have to spend a fair amount of time by yourself. And I mean really by yourself in solitude, that silence thing I was talking about. Instrumental music is okay. Instrumental. You don't need to be, can't speak. You don't need to be listening, my mouth's all numb, to like Tay Tay talk about her ex-boyfriends or whatever it is. Silence is best, and you get the inspiration from yourself. It's something that most people don't do. They always need to be around other people, texting, looking at Facebook, whatever it is. They need to be trying to get that connection when being on your own is actually one of the most healthy things you can do, believe it or not. And once you do it, you actually start to love yourself. You get comfortable with yourself, and then you're you. The reason I hate looking at those pictures is because I know I'm not me in any of those. I see those pictures and I see a guy who's just struggling to fit in desperately. And I also see like the look on mom's face, and she's just, I mean, I don't blame her. I don't one bit. Looking back at the way that I was, how can somebody be genuinely at peace or even close to being happy when I'm in straight up panic mode? And she was in a little bit of a panic mode too. I understand that. Just trying to fit in. And that's where things just freaking break down. If the two people in a relationship aren't themselves, well, that shit ain't gonna work. It's just not gonna work. And so, I watched something a long time ago that said the reason that a lot of people, most people, don't like hearing their own voice and they don't like seeing videos of themselves is because their inner self is like, that's not you, that's not us, that's not me, whatever you want to call it. The person speaking, the person behaving is not our inner selves, and we don't like that. And it wasn't until about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that I really became myself, or started to become myself. And I don't mind hearing my voice now. My voice has changed a little bit, not much, because I stopped putting on a show. I stopped putting on the persona and became me. And I was like, oh, okay, this works. If you don't like hearing your own voice, or if you don't like seeing videos of yourself, it's a big ass red flag. You need to do some solitude and hang out with yourself for a while and become yourself. Get away from those people. Get away from the people panicking, because it's freaking contagious, man. But yeah, the lady sitting next to me, the irony, not irony, I don't know what you want to call it, but the funny part was she was convinced she knew all kinds of things about aviation. And she knew absolutely nothing about aviation. That was another one of the things, because I had to watch what I said, because I had to sit next to this lady. I didn't want to piss her off. So she's saying things that are just wildly inaccurate about aviation. And I'm like, yeah. But her confidence level, whew, she knew what was going on. And the reality is, even that girl, TN Fly Girl, she was putting on that show of being confident, and she wasn't. This is it's a really dangerous thing. Let's see, how good is Dad's psychology? Let's see, it's Alfred Adler. Alfred Adler theory. There we go. Alfred Adler's theory of individual psychology posits that human behavior is driven by a striving for superiority to overcome innate feelings of inferiority rather than by sexual urges. I don't remember the sexual urges thing, but it emphasizes a holistic view of the individual, yourself, your actual self, focusing on social interest, goal-directed behavior, birth order, all that stuff. But what he talks about in his theory, if you go into this, is that when people feel an inferiority, when they feel inadequate, they put on a show. The show begins so they can fit in, or they can feel like they fit in. Been there, done that shit. I might be as guilty as anybody on this. Round about 2015 through 2021, I was putting on a show of absolute arrogance. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was confused. I was scared. I was an absolute freaking mess, is what I was. Outwardly, I behaved like an asshole. Just an absolute asshole. Belittling Mom, giving you guys a hard time about being on TikTok. I remember that one bothers me to this day. But I was just behaving like an asshole. And I'll regret that until my last breath. It was absolutely stupid. That's what I was doing. I felt inferior and was putting on this show. And this leads to, if you look at it, the word narcissistic is way overused these days. But it's what ends up happening is because at that time, a narcissist, Narcissus, was it a Greek god or a Roman god? Latin god? I don't know. One of the gods, and he became consumed with his image. And so a narcissist is consumed, it's referencing that god, they're consumed with how they appear to other people. And that becomes their entire self, is their appearance. Actual emotions of other people around them don't even make it into the picture. Not even close. And was I doing that? Hell yeah, I was. I was absolutely doing that. And I work to try and make amends for that every single day of my life. It was, but it happens to a lot of people. And it's okay. That's the point of saying, hey, I forgive myself. Because this is not just you. It's not just me. It's not just TN Fly Girl. This happens to so many people who just want to fit in. That's the contagiousness. You just want to fit in, so you start behaving like what you think is acceptable. And, yeah. Confidence versus arrogance, by the way. It's really easy to distinguish. Confidence, when someone is confident about something, they can make fun of themselves and everything's fine. Arrogance is absolutely characterized. If you poke fun at somebody who doesn't have confidence but is instead arrogant, they get really defensive. Really defensive. If you look at the relationship between like kids and a dad and kids and a mom, who can you make fun of? Who are you allowed to make fun of? Dad. Well, you can make fun of dad because people know, all right, males are at least supposed to be confident. We may not know what the hell we're doing, but we're supposed to be confident. Women, you should be. There's absolutely no reason for you not to be confident. Every woman I've ever met, they have a reason to be confident, but they get wrapped up in that group mentality. So, just thought of something. All right, I already thought of it and I already mentioned it. How do I put this? Oh, God, I already brought it up. Damn it. Got to get a better filter on me. Somebody in your family, mom's side of the family, I think I've mentioned this before. We're getting married. Me and mom are getting married. And per the Catholic faith, anytime you engage in a sacrament, you're supposed to have a clean soul, meaning you're free from sin. And the way we're free from sin is to go and confess your sins. Hey, Lord, I've messed up. Please forgive me. You're good. Go get married. So I asked the priest for a confession, and someone on your side of the family was standing there and looked at me and said, well, why do you need a confession? Well, because I'm a sinner. And I remember her saying, because the priest offered her, would you like a confession? She actually made the statement, I don't sin. It was wild. I remember being terrified by that statement. It scarred me, and I remember just having this, oh dear God. And that was what mom was trying to fit into, and probably still is trying to fit into, this facade of, well, our family doesn't sin. It's okay, you can screw up. It's okay to screw up. Not a big deal. Just fix it. Admit it and fix it. But everybody's trying to find their happiness. That's where people think, I'm going to be happy if everybody thinks I don't sin. So there's a video. Traffic. Let's see. Where is it? It's in my favorites. Here we go. Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, come on, work with me here. The video is titled, Don't Chase Happiness, Become Anti-Fragile. This nails it on the head because people who pursue happiness are always fragile people. You make one little comment that might kind of tarnish that facade that they're putting on, that they don't sin, and they get really defensive. Imagine if I had said to that person, yeah, you do, you sin. What would have happened to me? I knew better than to say anything like that. And everybody in the family knows, don't you dare say anything like that to that person. Fragility. Don't chase happiness, be anti-fragile. Let's just watch the
There are
first
only
one.
two kinds of people who do not experience painful emotions. The first kind are the psychopaths.
And
The
sociopaths.
second kind are dead.
You're going to experience painful
There is a
emotions.
false understanding or
And it's a good thing. If you experience painful emotion, that's a good sign.
expectation that a happy life means being happy all the time. No, learning to accept and even embrace painful emotions is an important part of a happy life, and the study of painful emotions is an important part of the field of happiness studies. My name is Tal Ben Shahar. I'm a student and teacher
sorry.
in the field of happiness studies, and my most recent book is Happier No Matter What.
Great book. I did read it. And that's where I realized happiness ain't coming. It's gonna come occasionally. It does. It does. It will. Big Think, another great channel on YouTube, just to learn about life. but pursuing happiness through hardship. You have to do the thing that you don't want to do every single time. This is how it works. You got the Trinity. And I'm not talking about the Holy Trinity, the Trinity of us, the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's analogous to the Trinity of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But each one of these we have to take care of, and each one of these is susceptible to becoming sick. Just like if I go sit on the couch and I'm happy and I'm eating donuts and I'm just doing what makes me feel good, my body is going to turn to shit. It's just the way it is. So going along with the body, I have to go to the gym. And it's going to hurt. In order to get progress at the gym, pain has to occur. That's just the way it is. And people say, well, I don't want to get big. Okay, you don't have the chemicals in your body as a female to get big. You have to take in chemicals to get that big, bulky look. But lifting the weights, running, cardio, whatever it is, it's going to be uncomfortable. And by the uncomfortability, your body gets better. Your body gets stronger. Your body gets healthier. It's the same thing with your mind. Same thing with your spirit. You have to do the uncomfortable thing. I'll just say it right now. Mom does not want to engage with me because of the difficult emotions associated with that. And because of that, things are going not so well, at least from what I understand. And I get it. I've been there. That's what ended up happening to me that's why I started drinking. I never enjoyed drinking. I never did. Looking back, I wonder, why the hell was I drinking for? But it was to get away from facing the hard emotions. Once I embraced those, my spirit started to grow and get stronger. With my mind, I'm constantly trying to learn new things. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to take a class. I decided I'm going to actually take a class here because I want to learn sign language. Grow the mind a little bit here and then actually be able to communicate with deaf people. But in order to grow the mind, the body, your spirit, you're going to have to engage in the uncomfortable stuff. And that's why there's tons of studies that people who do the things that they don't want to do are happier people.
One of the things I think is very clear is that he's tapped into this neuroplasticity process through the door, through the portal of agitation and stress. He's figured out, and this is really the holy grail of neuroscience, is how can I modify my brain? Well, you modify it by placing yourself into discomfort and using that as a propeller to move you into action.
There's no way around it, unfortunately. So, I remember the drinking got really bad for me, going right back to it, when I was trying to fit in as a commercial pilot. I had done the freight flying thing, and that was one thing because it was just, we would wear t-shirts and we were flying in the middle of the night. We were smoking cigarettes and dipping and drinking coffee in these airplanes. It was just us and one other person. And it was relaxed. It was chill. And you could be yourself. And I fit in pretty well there. When I went to the commercial side, to the airline side, I don't know that I had ever felt so out of place. The imposter syndrome was wild. Look up imposter syndrome. It's when you don't feel as though you belong somewhere, like you haven't earned it. The vast majority of those people were hardcore drinkers. The vast majority of the males were womanizers. And I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be accepted. And what happened to me? I turned into a raging alcoholic or drinker, and I became a womanizer. Two things that I never wanted. I didn't enjoy drinking, and Mom was the only woman I've ever wanted since I've met her. I understand why she doesn't think that, because I didn't convey that. I didn't let her know what was really going on. I guarded those emotions. I'm not telling her how much I love her. That was vulnerability. In fact, last night, let me pull this up. There we go. I had to send out the love. You know, I did the text. We'll see how that goes. I think I know how that's going to go. But throwing out the positive energy. Oops, there we go. Nope, there it is. I grabbed a picture of, I have that picture of Mom on my phone. I keep it and I look at it regularly. She looks absolutely gorgeous, but dreams are one of the ways one of the ways God talks to us. Too many years too late. Just sending out the undying love to the most amazing person I've ever met. I immediately, even at whatever it was, 3 o'clock in the morning, I got 2 private messages. Oh my God, what's going on? Apparently, some people don't even know that we're not together anymore. But what's going on? Is Tina okay? So yeah, she's fine. I just had a dream that vigorously reminded me that this entire existence is a test of how willing we are to forgive and love. But that's the kind of stuff I should have done years ago. Too many years too late. And I was trying to fit in and doing stupid shit. And I see people do that now. And in some cases, it's too brutal for me to watch. Because I'm like a sponge for other people's emotions. I soak it up. And so, I came home from that flight and was just in an absolute panic mode. There you go. Exhibit A. But anyway, so did a week of solitude. I've gone out a couple times, but yeah. Excuse me. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, the drinking. When you do something like that, when you engage in anything that's kind of like an addiction, anything you can't go without for like a week, maybe a month, if you can't go without it for a week, there's a problem. And for me, it was booze. Now, there's some exceptions to this, but like, I'm going to say it again. If you can't go without talking to your friends and seeing your friends for a week, there's a problem. There's an addiction going on there. You should, my best friend, he and I, wow, geez, what, 2 days ago? 3 days ago, we went and had coffee together. Prior to that, I hadn't seen him in 3 weeks. And that's normal. That's the way it is with adults. With me, with booze, I never drank in the morning or anything like that. At least I don't think so. But I remember it was 7:15 each night. There was something about that time. I knew I had to start drinking. And what it was for me was I knew, okay, well, the night is coming up. I'm not going to be able to go to sleep because of all the thoughts in my head, and that's what I'm getting to. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chug this stuff. That way I don't have to deal with these emotions. I don't have to deal with these thoughts because they're uncomfortable, and I don't have to deal with them. That is opening the doors. Just opening the doors wide open and ringing the bell for demons. And they're real. They are absolutely 100% real. And that's what happened. I would check out. The person of me wasn't really there in the first place because I was putting on a show on the outside. And then the show would just go away. And then straight up freaking demon would take over. And I would do things that I didn't remember, and I was just an absolute mess. And I wish it had happened sooner, but that spiritual experience that I was telling you about, that's also in my favorites. Tucker Carlson is a kind of a well-known personality these days. He's a political commentator. Here we go. Getting sober. This is like one story out of millions.
And then you could someone taught me about scotch. I knew nothing about scotch. I was always a bourbon guy or whatever, but I sat and drank a quart of scotch with a friend of mine. He's like, scotch is really good. Just drink a quart of it.
What happened there? So his friend, hey, scotch is really good. Just drink a quart of it. Okay, you say to do it.
So we did. We're up in Maine. It didn't matter. It was in the summertime. But then I got back to Washington in late August or mid-August, and I have this job. And then I get home from the job. It's like, click, click, well, I'll try some scotch. And the next thing you know, you're like shit-faced at home. And part of me was like, that's not good. And I had a couple of moments where
By the way, every day I would wake up and say, that's it. I'm not going to drink anymore. That went on for like 3 years.
lost control, actually, at the White House Christmas party in 2001. I got too drunk to talk and stuff like that. It's just embarrassing. But I woke up this one morning at the last day of August 2002, and my wife was 10 days away from giving birth to our fourth child. And I was sitting at my desk, like smoking a cigarette at home, feeling bad. And I just heard this voice. I don't know if it was a voice, it was from God. And it was the clearest possible instruction. If you keep doing this, you will lose your wife and children. And I haven't always been a great husband or father, but I've always wanted to be. I've always really cared a lot. And it's easy to care about people who are, loving and fun to be with, as my family is. So it's not.
Search YouTube for people getting sober. And I wish there was a reason God held off on giving me my wake-up call. That's essentially what happened. Mine was a little bit more in-depth than hearing a voice. But I was shown, like, you got two paths here. There's the path of light and the path of darkness. It's your choice, dude. What do you want to do? What is it you want to do? Because you got free will. And I remember not even, like, it was not even an option. The dark path was not an option. And I remember saying, I want to, so I actually said I want to be with her, referring to Mom. And it's just such a bizarre experience. Such an absolutely bizarre experience. But then I was shown. The essence of it was you're about to go through hell. And it was a feeling of you're going to go through hell and pay for what you've done. And I went, okay, yeah. And the idea, the notion, the inspiration of, if you act out again, if you do this again, if you let the anger take over again, that's it. I'm not helping you anymore. And I was okay. The term, it scared the hell out of me. It came to me a day later or whatever. And I'm like, that's what that means. That's where that phrase came from. Because hell was definitely in me. The nasty spirits were definitely having their way with me. And it scared the hell out of me. And I'll never go back to that. I won't ever go back to that. And it's the pain of my existence that Mom is kind of going down that path now. I so want her to join me on this new path. But I've also been inspired many times that everybody has free will, and we can't do anything about that other than offer our availability to send a text and say, hey, I'm here if you want to take that leap of faith that we all need to take. That was his experience, my experience. I've heard it literally thousands of times at this point. There's something that steps in at some point for all of us who are battling this, and it's up to us to make the choice. Well, which one do you want to go down? And I've actually seen people say, fuck that, I want revenge. And my biological mother is one of those people. I am certain at this point there's been some sort of divine intervention saying, are you going to stop? And clearly she has not, and she won't. It absolutely breaks my heart. It hurts. And to watch people do that is absolutely, like I said, it's the pain of my existence. But that's it all goes back to that wanting to fit in, to have the appearance. Anxiety and depression are both kind of not kind of intertwined. They're intertwined. And once you realize that those stem, like TN Fligral, 8 medications for anxiety. Well, it stems from putting on an act. If you are getting ready, thinking about, okay, well, I'm going to run into this person, so I have to have my hair like this, and then when I see them, okay, I have to say these right words. You're putting on an act. One more time. Jim Carrey, depression.
The one thing, like, people talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is
He's had the same experience, by the way, as far as something from outside stepping in, going, knock it off.
This is just, from happenstance, whatever happened or didn't happen
Sadness.
for you. And depression is your body saying, fuck you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me. So a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster, and his take on it is that they should change. You should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from
Solitude. Rest. Getting away from those people. Quarantine. You gotta do it. It's and often you gotta go to the gym. Often. I go to the gym once a week. Well, what you're just doing is torturing yourself once a week. But if you do it 5, 6, 7 times a week, get some exercise in, your body's like, oh, well, this is normal. People have heart attacks because they go to the gym once a week and end up, their body's like, what the hell is this? You're torturing me. And they croak because of it. This has to be a normal thing. Self-care of the mind, body, and spirit has to be a normal, everyday thing. Gotta be. And you gotta become you. Yeah. I'm looking at notes I have here. I'm just replaying the fucking act that I put on. It's so stupid. Like I said last night, just leaning over the bed. This is so fucking stupid. But anyway, like I said, there's that old adage of no pain, no gain. It doesn't say no happiness, no gain. No. Happiness doesn't fall anywhere in there. No pain, no peace. You will have pain, and it's going to lead to peace.
Just got to do it.
Yeah, you just do it. But the thing is, it's always sucks while it's happening. It's always fucking horrible. But then when it's over, it feels great that you got through the suck. And I don't think most people who don't experience suck, they don't experience that feeling of conquering suck.
Yeah, and that's the important thing to try and remember.
Yeah.
Right? So you remember it. I remember it. I remember what that. So even when it's sucking, I'm like, I know how this is gonna feel. I know how this plays out.
ends.
And you know what? Actually, I know. Other feeling, is when you don't do it.
Yeah.
And the end of the day comes, you're like, dude, that was pathetic. You didn't even, and that's just the worst feeling. That's the feeling that really makes you sick. And so between that carrot and stick, carrot being like, I know this is going to be good, and stick meaning, I know at the end of the day, if I'm putting my head on the pillow and I was a bitch, that doesn't feel good. I don't want none of that.
And then happiness will materialize every once in a while. And it's fantastic. But this existence, I kid you not, 2 things. Love, spending your energy not just on other people, actually helping other people, but loving yourself. And that classic quote from Jesus, love your enemies. Everybody, even sinners, love the people that love them. But when we actually love our enemies and send them good energy, that's what is looked at like, okay, you're worthy to come to the big party upstairs. Come on upstairs. You get what I'm saying? So, another story that just popped into my head, I don't know why. I was going to a therapist for about 3 years. And it pained me because I saw a transformation in her that was, that's why, because she had chosen the dark path. It had seemed anyway. When we first started doing therapy together, when I was like, yeah, this is a good fit. I enjoy the female therapist. I like that. She seems to have a good head on her shoulders. She tells me like it is. She was working at a clinic that was run by somebody who I met who did not really care about other human beings. Oh, I'm having some sciatica. I'm just a mess. I'm getting old. But she was working at this clinic, and the director at this clinic was a really cold person, but also putting on this show of arrogance all the time. And my therapist had voiced her displeasure with the director many times. She didn't like this person, and there really wasn't much to like. I didn't really care for that person either. My therapist eventually started her own clinic. So she left the other one, started her own, and I remember so it was about 1.5 years at the first clinic, and then 1.5 years ish at the other clinic. And I remember her a few times talking about the director at the old place. And she made the statement one time, I'm going to put her out of business. That was her goal. She'd gotten in competition with somebody else, another female, and she started going down this really, really bad path to the point where twice she had outbursts where I thought she was testing me. I really thought this is a test. She wants to see if I'm going to act out. But she had 2 major outbursts. And the first time, I remember getting up because she had stood up and was getting all aggressive. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, what she's doing right now, she's testing me to see if I can be antagonized. And so I went up to her. I'm like, hey, what's going on here? And I said, are you okay? She let it slip something to do with her daughter. It doesn't matter. But a little snippet that her personal life was turning to shit. It was, her personal life was now going down a bad path. And I went, hey, it's going to be okay. And I reached out to give her a hug, and she shoved me away. She said, no, we're not doing that. And I didn't know how to behave. So I just slowly backed out, and I said, what I'll do is I'll text you later, and we can set up our next meeting. The next meeting, anyway, suffice to say, I stopped going after that second meeting. I later found out from running into another therapist who worked at that new clinic. She had quit and said she had had some sort of confrontation with my former therapist. And I remember going, not you too. Not you two. Come on, don't do this. And she had been consumed with the competition, with fitting in, with the appearance, and it took her down a bad path. And I think about her often, and I try to send the energy that way. Like, hey, Lord, please send some peace in so-and-so's way. Because she's a good person. I know it. I know she's a good person. She's not what she turned into. And she just got overwhelmed. And it pains me. So, that inability, we have a society now where, like I told you, people just will not say I'm sorry anymore. It's so rare for people to just say, I'm sorry I did that. But that's the path. That uncomfortability of taking accountability. Saying, I screwed up. And saying it even if you really didn't screw up. Now, don't make yourself a scapegoat. But my point is, if somebody comes to you and says that they have screwed up, like for example, I go up to somebody, or better yet, somebody comes to me and says, hey, JJ, I've done some terrible things here. I'm so sorry. There's a few different responses I can give. I can give the, well, you should be sorry. How dare you do that? What I just talked about a little while ago. Or I can empathize with them and say, hey, come here. I've screwed up too. I know I haven't done the best job. I can do better too. And then you guys are on the same level. Number one, the person who made themselves vulnerable has now just been like rewarded. Like, okay, cool. But you're on the same level, and there's no need. Everybody can take the masks off and go, oh my God, I feel this weight off. Yeah, me too. It's uncomfortable at first, and then you get used to it. And then you don't get upset by hearing the sound of your own voice. And I still look at, again, the old pictures, the old me, the person that wasn't me, seeing those pictures. Oh, but, here, as luck would have it.
The Holy Spirit sees what you can't. He hears conversations you will never hear. Not everyone who smiles
The icon for this video was, they're not your friends.
at you is truly for you. Some people are sent by God to sharpen you, but some people are sent to sabotage you. So how do you know the difference?
Easy.
If you will notice these warning signs that I'm going to share with you, the Holy Spirit might be showing you that that person is not your real friend. They are fake. Now, before we talk about the fake friends, what does the Bible say about the true ones? The Bible doesn't just warn us about toxic relationships.
You'll know them by their fruits. That's how Jesus describes it. Is you will know them by their fruits. The fake ones are easy. They tell you all the things you want to hear. If you are in a relationship, friendship with someone and you're always, boy, they just always tell me, yeah, God, they tell me good things. No, they're not. No. We should be promoting each other, and we're all doing, I screw up 20, 30 times a day. And I'm looking for somebody that will say to me, hey, JJ, you can do better. What do I do? Can you help me with that? Please help me with that. I would love some help with that. But you know them by their fruits. For example, if your circle consists of mainly interacting with divorce attorneys, well, look at their fruits. They have engaged in a business of the destruction of families. That's the reality. And everybody knows what lawyers are in general. They're not exactly truth tellers. And then divorce attorneys and criminal defense attorneys take it to another level. But criminal defense attorneys, the guy might be innocent. But in a divorce, you're constantly engaging in the destruction of families. Do you want to engage with those people? If you have a bunch of single friends who are telling you, you don't need him, screw him, well, you're single and you don't seem all that happy. So what do you want to do here? But it happens all the time. People will say, no, I've heard it so many times now. I have to laugh at it because constantly everybody says, my circle of friends is fantastic. But you look back 10 years and they'll say, oh, well, those people I was friends with back then, they weren't good people. But now my friends are good. Go be in solitude. Be with yourself. It's fantastic. Fine. It's just feeding me stuff here. The feed's up. Rachel Wilson is an advocate, an anti-feminist, by her description, an anti-feminist advocate. And let's see if I can find this. How good am I? Come on. I need more brain supplements. There it is.
This is supposed to be for you. I want you guys to look at what really happened and the results of that and the whole last...
She's talking about feminism and girl power and yay, empower women, which is code for never tell women the wrong. That's what empower women means.
Chapters, like a ton of statistics about where are we now after 50 years of this being the super dominant thing. It's not great. But I was like, I want women to have the ability to look at it truthfully for themselves and decide what they think. And I have been slandered. The things that have been said about me, the lies and the gossip that have been spread like online, calling me everything under the sun, just wild, crazy rumors about my personal life that are not true. Because
but that's going to happen.
Yes, it is. It is going to happen.
That says anything controversial.
I'm kind of seen as somebody betraying the sisterhood,
Uh-huh.
right? Because we're so programmed.
You do not betray the sisterhood. They're the Pharisees. The sisterhood is the common day, the current day group of Pharisees. They'll judge the shit out of you and then talk shit about you as much as they can and try and persecute you. They'll try and crucify you.
That it's like the knee-jerk reaction from women oftentimes, but I get hundreds now, emails, DMs, letters in the mail even, to our P.O. box from women. Like one was a lady who was like, I'm 60 years old. I'm sitting here reading your book and it's covered with tears because I fell for this shit. Now I'm 60 years old.
That's another story that pops up constantly. Anyway, I hate hearing those stories. And now I'm wondering who this 60-year-old woman is and where she is. And I kid you not, the essence of me wants to go find this person, give them a hug and say, you're okay. You're okay. You're loved. you've made a mistake. It's not a big deal. You can come back from this. But I can't. So I have to go invert. I put up, let's see. Where is it? So this, I'm working on the front yard. I like my projects, you know that. So the front yard, I put in the flower bed. I tried real flowers. That didn't work. It's not good soil. So these are fake, but they look fantastic. And then I was actually going to build a little wall here, and I decided against that. Eventually, this flower bed will come all the way into the front, but I went and let's see if I can do this here. Transfer. I finished off the guardrail there, whatever you want to call that, and put that in right there. So now I have to continue this part here, but my back is killing me. If you haven't figured it out, I love carpentry. My boy Jesus inspired that years ago. I wanted to be a carpenter like Jesus. So I think it looks pretty good. A lot of work to do though. So anyway, I got to go invert and stretch and do that thing. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, it's contagious, girls. It's contagious. Please know that the mind, the body, and the spirit are all susceptible to viruses, for lack of a better term. And demons are a real thing. People who discount them are the ones that are most susceptible to one taking over. So be vulnerable. Admit fault. Hey, I've screwed up. You've heard my story. You've probably heard my story 30 times now. I screwed up royally, and I'm just trying my best to fix it. That's the story of everybody. I almost said something that I'm not going to say, and no, you're not going to make me. But there's somebody at a crossroads right now. They've gone down a bad path, and I love them dearly. And it's up to them to go, all right, I'm going to fix this. And completely doable until it's not. All right, that's that. I'm going to have a tough time sleeping tonight, but I have more supplements, by the way. But I came across a new supplement called L-theanine. Look it up. It's great. If your mind races, if your mind constantly races with stuff, L-theanine somehow, I don't know how, either mellows that out or shuts it off completely. Same thing with ashwagandha. Ashwagandha actually shuts off cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So those two things combined, I take my ashwagandha and my L-theanine, and it mellows me out. I did that last night when I woke up in an absolute panic, and it worked. So hopefully tonight I'll get some sleep. But now I'm going to be terrified to go to sleep. I'll be all right. I love you, girls. I miss you. Every day without you is an absolute dreadful day. But it's that pain that has caused me to grow, and hopefully, with God's help, someday that pain comes to an end and ends up in absolute euphoria. So, I love you. You go out and love one another the same way I love you.